broadcasters. Welcome to episode 240 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Geige, and I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a good week. We have some fun stuff to cover tonight. Some new changes on the on-air side, which will be good to chat about. For anyone new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard, and we do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with all of you, go through the same flow that you all do with your own shows and productions. Two is to answer any of your questions. That's why we're calling it Ask StreamYard. So if there's anything you'd like us to touch on tonight, feel free to leave it in the chat. We'll do our best to get to as many as we possibly can. And three, I always mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional streams. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. See people from all over the world tonight. Great to have all of you here. We got Christopher from Detroit. Very, very cool. Before I forget, we have lots of awesome shows on StreamYard that you definitely will want to check out if you haven't already. We got YouTube channel reviews with Daniel Batal and D Niman the second Saturday of every month. Really great show if you're looking to grow on YouTube. Both of them are pros when it comes to all things YouTube. And the great thing about that show is they focus in on individual channels and will give ideas around, how to think about a particular niche, how to think about, how much content to post, when to post the content. It's really useful stuff. And then we have Enhance Your Live Streams the last Tuesday of the month with Nick Niman, who again, pro when it comes to all things video, but tune in there for some specific live streaming topics. And then one thing we've been doing at the start of these so that we get to know a little bit more about you and you get to know a little bit more about us was a fun fact. The fun fact we had for tonight was, is there an unusual food combination that you enjoy that maybe other people, that's just uncommon, maybe other folks wouldn't have that combination?
I'm super curious to hear what everyone in the chat has for this one, because I imagine there's some unique ones out there. I don't have any that's too far out there, I would say, but I do have a few that are pretty unique. And I eat really healthy. I always have. One of the weird quirks that I have, I just love spinach for whatever reason. It's probably my favorite food. And I put it on pretty much everything. And everyone always thinks that's very odd. So I'll just have any meal, like literally anything, and I'll just put a handful of spinach right on the top. So I would say that's probably the weirdest thing that I have. How about you?
Cool. Yeah, the one that I have, I haven't had it in ages, and it was something that a friend of mine, it was like a family friend was having, and I thought it was bizarre, and then I had it, and I actually really liked it, and that was putting peanut butter on pancakes. It was actually really good.
Okay.
I don't think I've had it since
I've never heard of that before. Makes sense, I guess, but
yeah, it was good. All right, I see lots of questions here, but first let's start with the update for tonight, and that was, I think, Dan, if you want to prepare the screen share for it so we can show it off. It's a small on-air update, but it's actually really cool. So with on-air now, as you're creating your on-air, and if you're unfamiliar with what on-air is, it's StreamYard's solution to if you want to do a webinar or a private live stream. It's basically everything you need to like either host it on your very own website. So say you're doing a live stream and you want to, in addition to going to YouTube, also stream it to maybe your WordPress website or something like that. Or maybe you want it to be entirely private and only have it go to like an exclusive set of folks, or, just if you're doing a traditional type of webinar, it's a really great solution for that. And with this, it makes it really easy to see exactly how the webinar is going to look and feel as you go through the creation process. So as you add your logo, your thumbnail, as you choose your color, you can see exactly like how's the email going to look, how's the registration page going to look, and all of that fun stuff.
Cool. So let me share it here, and you can see exactly what it looks like.
Cool.
Okay. So here is the new on-air registration, or not even registration, just the on-air settings page. So there's no new functionality yet, although we will eventually be adding more, and this kind of sets us up to add a lot more functionality. But in the past, after you created an on-air stream, if you wanted to edit it and change the color or logo, we would pull up a little modal where you could change those things. Now those are on a separate page. And like Geige said, we have a whole preview now. So you can see exactly what it's going to look like without having to actually save it and then go to the page and look at it. So we just show this nice preview. So right here, I've got color, logo. Like you can add the logo. You'll see it just adjusts in real time there. And you can see here's what the registration page will look like. But if I want to see what the email will look like to users, I can check that out. And if I was to change the color, so maybe I want to make it blue or something, you can change the color, kind of see how everything will adjust. You have the watch page. Same thing. This is what the actual watch page will look like for users. So actually, like the viewer experience once they've registered and gotten in. And then also same thing if we embed it. So if I want to, with Honor, you can embed it on your website. So you don't have to just share a StreamYard link where the viewers go. You can also embed it somewhere. Same thing. It'll just show you here's what the experience looks like. We're actually embedding this thing. And then there is some more features coming soon to this page, but yeah, pretty cool to actually have this preview so you have a sense of what everything is.
Cool. So yeah, if y'all have any questions about it, definitely let us know. But yeah, excited that it will hopefully be pretty helpful as you're creating your on-air webinars.
Yep.
All right, let's get to some of these questions before we get to the next topic. Data is King says, can we have a way to automatically go from one video clip to another? Yeah, so that's definitely something we talked about, making easier. Data, the workaround that we usually mention for this is to use the local video sharing option and potentially just like stitch a bunch of videos together and share a long running clip that way. But it depends what you're trying to accomplish with it. I think later on in the comments, I think I saw that you were hoping to do like one B-roll after another B-roll after another B-roll. But it is something that we're thinking about, especially like I've chatted about before, some of the deeper, more powerful features that we're adding sort of behind the scenes, like keeping things really simple. But for folks that want to do things that do require more customization like that, this is the type of use case that we're hoping to address. Any other thoughts on that one, Dan?
Yeah, the other thing that may eventually help is if we have hotkeys for video clips. We don't have that now, but I'm hoping we can add it in the future. That may be another solution where you can kind of click between them hotkeys, but yeah, can't do that yet, and it would still require some kind of manual change, whereas what Geige is talking about, some of the different changes we're working on may help you do this automatically eventually. Yeah, there's nothing coming next week or anything that would make this easy other than what Geige said, or just stitch them all together into one video is the simplest thing right now.
Cool. All right. Paranormal Gateway says, would it be possible for a new feature that allows you to create folders within the studio brand section? Yeah, that's a good question, Paranormal. So I assume you already know that we have the concept of brand folders. So if you have multiple brands, there's you can manage them that way. But I think what you're saying is basically a folder within like another sort of sub level there. Is that your take of the question, Dan?
I think so. I would guess that's what he's looking for.
So any thoughts on that?
Like I'm thinking like a folder, like say overlays. You want like a folder
Exactly, yeah.
specifically for overlays. Yeah, it's not something we've considered too much because I find most people just create another brand. It would be useful to learn more about if our guess is correct about why you want that or exactly what you want. It'd be useful to know why you want that and what you're actually planning to do with that. Like, is it just because you need more? So you need more overlays for one of your brands, for example? Or is it like you have maybe a logo you want to use all the time, but then different shows with different overlays, and you don't want to have 5 separate brands where you have to keep uploading the same logo? We'd just be curious to learn more.
Yeah, cool. If you don't mind letting us know, Paranormal would be super helpful. See, Karen, you're mentioning that you're struggling, like having to manage multiple like devices open at the same time. I would be curious to learn more in terms of like why you need so many devices open so we could help. But yeah, if you don't mind letting us know. Wildlife and Horses TV says, are you able to record a video and upload to YouTube or Twitter? That's a good question. So yes to YouTube, and that's pretty recent. Recently that we added that. So now after you either do a live stream or a recording on StreamYard, inside the editor, you're able to directly post to YouTube up to 20 minute long videos. So if you want to cut up a video and get it ready for YouTube directly in StreamYard and post it directly from StreamYard into YouTube, you can absolutely do that. You can absolutely do that for YouTube. We don't have an integration with Twitter yet. I'm not actually sure what they support in terms of ingesting videos, but it's certainly something that we're open to. Or X now, I guess it's called.
Yeah, Facebook will likely come. Like a Facebook integration will likely come before Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well, I'm hoping. Yeah, Twitter, I'm not as sure about what they actually support. There's just a lot of changes going on over there, as you probably imagine.
Cool. Manny says, won the giveaway and already received the items, and they're great. Awesome, Manny. Super happy to hear that. Glad that you got them quick and that they're nice for you. Vase Place says, when will we be able to upload videos to use the editing functions? That's a good question. Any thoughts on that one, Dan?
Yeah, very good question. I'm not sure yet when we'll do that. Like, I assume you just mean you want to use the trimmer, but you want to just do it on a video that's uploaded that didn't come from the StreamYard studio. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. It is something we're going to add eventually, but it's not super high on the priority list yet. I would guess maybe sometime this year or early next year. But yeah, if it comes up a lot, obviously we'll prioritize that sooner. It doesn't come up all that often. Usually people will just be recording from within the studio and then want to repurpose that. But I definitely get the need if you have content from elsewhere.
Cool. Sketches and Scrub says, is there a way to use on air for a multi-day webinar without asking people to sign up multiple times for each day? So we don't have the concept of a multi-day webinar directly within on air, but the nice thing is on air is pretty simple. So in terms of like using on air to support a multi-day webinar, it should be pretty straightforward. In fact, we've had several, like many folks actually do pretty complex events and webinars, sometimes even where it's like there's two different sessions going at the same time. So if you do want to set something up such that, like you mentioned, you do want to have people sign up for the individual sessions in sort of like a multi-session scenario, well, then it works fine as is. But it sounds like what you're saying is you want people to sign up once and then basically get directed to all of them. And then in that case, you have a few options. I think if you are technical, I would consider basically setting up. You could do your own registration basically. Like if you use something like HubSpot or just something that makes it easy for you to collect registration, you could basically have your own registration and then within your own CRM set up like basically an email sequence that goes out of like, hey, it's day one, here's the StreamYard link for day one. It's day two, here's the StreamYard link for day two. So you could basically set that up yourself, and depending on the tools you use and what works well for you, it could be a great solution or it could be a lot of work depending on what you're working with. The other option could be is you could just say the very first session have the StreamYard registration turned on. So for the first basically video that people watch, you'll basically collect their information then, and then you could basically have it where the next series do not have registration turned on, have it turned off, and then maybe share that information in the first email that goes out or something. There's a few different ways you could work around it. Any other thoughts on that one, Dan?
Yeah, only final thing is we probably will add direct support for that at some point. I don't know when that would happen, but it has come up before, so I think it's on our mind.
Cool. Yeah, we'd like to definitely make it easier. Let's see what else we had here. JA says, this is on my cell phone. How do I access it on my desktop, this webinar? So I assume you mean like the town hall, JA? And if that's the case, if you just go to StreamYard's YouTube channel or Facebook channel, or I think we're also on LinkedIn and Twitter. If you just type in StreamYard, it should, it depends exactly like on the platform itself how you find it, but it should pop up for you on your desktop.
Yep.
Speak English with this guy says, you've mentioned you might have an option to dial back the touch-up feature. Is that still under consideration? Thanks, guys. Yes. So
Yes.
We definitely got enough feedback that was a highly desirable option. So we're currently working on that, right, Dan?
Yeah, we'll have an option. I don't know exactly when it'll come up, but it'll be pretty soon where you can adjust it and have a few different settings, basically. So if you want to tone it down a lot, you can. Some people actually want it to be a bit more aggressive or more intense, I guess would be the word. So yeah, we'll have an option to kind of customize it yourself.
Cool. Let's see here. Chris says, was something up with the comments this past Saturday? I couldn't see my previous comments, but now I see them on my phone of the last live stream. Not that I know of, Chris, but I haven't like watched the chat, so I'm not sure.
There was a YouTube issue, but it was a few weeks ago that lasted a little while. It only affected certain users, but we had to kind of debug that one with YouTube, and they eventually solved that. But if you had this just very recently, then it's not related. But yeah, I'd be curious if anyone else has had that, but I haven't heard anything.
Cool.
YouTube does have issues once in a while, but it's typically quite stable. So hopefully if it was a one-off thing with them, it's fixed already.
Yep. Muttnut says, will there be an option to pause video when recording? Yes, so that one has definitely been coming up for a while, especially since we've added local recording and some of the other cool recording features. So yeah, stay tuned on that. It's actively being worked on. Pausing and additional recording controls are on the way. John says, StreamYard noob here. Do you mind just summarizing core multi-output, which platforms and how many, and future stream scheduling features. Yeah, John. For the most details, it's probably easiest if you just go to StreamYard.com and go to like the pricing section or the features section. I'll walk through all the details. At a high level, we support essentially all major platforms that have APIs to integrate with. One of the cool things about multi-streaming is we do support scheduling on all of those supported platforms. So say you want to schedule a stream a week out that's going exactly similar to like how we do with this town hall, that's going out to like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and have like scheduled posts for all of them that are in sync. StreamYard does all of that. And on our on the highest tier plans, you can go live to up to 8 places at the same time.
Yep, and there's no limitations around which platforms. So, for example, if you had 5 different Facebook pages, you can stream to all 5 of them. Yep. There's no weirdness with like, oh, you can only have one Facebook page and one. You can do whatever you want. It's just the number that matters. So on our free plan, it's 1. On basic, it's 3. On pro and up, it's 8.
Cool. John says, is it possible to have isolated recordings on by default, or do you have to enable it each time? So if you have enabled it, John, it should be on for future recordings that you do, right, Dan?
I'm trying to remember exactly how we do this. So if you're doing just a recording, so let's say you're recording only, you're not live streaming or anything. I know we saved that setting based on whatever you had it set to last time. I can't remember if we do that with live streaming or not. So I don't want to give you the wrong answer. But if you try it out, it should. You'll get the answer yourself. And if you're just wondering, like, hey, it doesn't do that, and I would like it to do that, definitely open to that, because I know we went back and forth on whether to default it on when you are live streaming, but I can't remember which one we landed on.
Cool. Matthew says, why are there streaming limits on the free plan? Yeah, so the free plan, you can go live up to 20 hours a month. We'd love for it to be unlimited. The main reason for the limits is StreamYard is a cloud-based platform, so every time you do a live stream on StreamYard, the reason why it works quite well, even if you're on like a Chromebook or a phone or a low-power device, is because essentially StreamYard is sort of like has a computer on your behalf that's like doing a lot of the mixing and the transcoding and offloading the work for you, which costs a lot of money. So if we had unlimited streaming, it would add up to be quite expensive. Who knows, like maybe we'll make higher limits in the future, but we also figured 20 hours was enough that it's like, all right, for most types of creation that you're doing, this is a pretty generous limit. Like you could do a full podcast every single month and never hit that limit, depending on how long your podcast is. We figured it was a pretty good limit in terms of like normal usage, but we're always talking about changing things like that, so we'll see. Sidekick Solution says, I can't find touch-ups on my StreamYard account. So if you go, everyone should have access to the touch-up filter, Sidekick. If you just go to settings and go into the camera section, you should see something that says touch up my appearance.
Yep, right at the bottom of the camera settings.
All right. See lots
of
and
awesome... I do think we actually hide the setting if your device doesn't support it. So almost every device supports it, but I mean also like mobile, for example, we don't have it on yet. So if you're on a mobile device, that would be why.
Okay, cool.
But almost every desktop, laptop device supports it.
Cool. See lots of other great questions here, but I want to get to a couple of the other topics for tonight. So do those topics and we'll get back to the questions. So one of the ones I wanted to touch on is we mentioned it a long time ago, but it's come a long way. And I think it'd be cool for, if you haven't checked it out, to maybe check it out again, or if you have in the past and forgot about it, is Collab. So Collab is basically a tool that the StreamYard team worked on to make it easier to find guests for your show or to find shows to be a guest on, because we often found that for both people starting out and people that have been doing it for a while, one of the big barriers sometimes is just being able to find guests for your show. So we wanted to make something that made that easier. Just wanted to share that. If you go to that link, anybody should be able to sign up now, Dan. Dan, that it's open now for sign up.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Cool. So if you do get a chance to check it out, definitely let us know what you think. The team's really excited about it. There's lots of people on there now, so that's been cool to see as well. Folks finding guests and shows, which has been great.
Yeah, and not just for, like you mentioned, big use cases. I want to find guests for my show, but another huge one is one of the best ways to grow your audience is to go on other people's shows. So then you're exposed to their audience and can deliver value to their audience. And if they like the show that you're on, they might start watching your content as well. So great for just finding other shows to go on.
Cool. Awesome, Pamela. I'm glad that the webinar / on-air feature is working well for you. That's great. Michelle says definitely want pause recording. Yes, it's on the way, Michelle. We're really excited to launch it. Let's see what else we have here. Defy Guy says, hey guys, I want to create scenes like OBS with a stinger effect, transition effect. Is it possible to do on StreamYard? You want to take that one, Dan?
Yeah, it's a good question. So Geige mentioned this earlier in the show, but we're working on adding basically more customization ability. Now we want to do this in a way where things are still really simple, like OBS. It's a lot. It's pretty overwhelming, I find. And for anyone who's used it, I imagine you would agree, unless you're very, very tech savvy and have used it for a long time. So as we start to add more advanced features, like transitions would be one of them, we want to make sure we do it in a really simple way. So we are working on a lot of stuff around more advanced customization, like custom layouts was really kind of the first version of that, and we're looking into more stuff now. I can't say exactly what will be part of it, but there will be more customization, and that's coming fairly soon.
Cool. Bella says, what's the hashtag the yard for? I think people
Great question.
Yeah, people preemptively do it, which is great. But we always do a giveaway at the end of these. Bella will be doing it probably in a couple minutes here, and it's what you have to type in to have a chance to win it. So that's why people type it, and will be eligible because you're allowed to have it in a sentence as well. So you're good now on the hashtag.
You're already good. Yep.
Yard. Marley says, would it be possible to add markers that we can use during a stream to highlight a moment during the live? Yeah, that's a cool suggestion, Marley, and it's something that the team has talked about. Any thoughts on that one, Dan?
Yeah, I would say it's something that's kind of in consideration right now. So it's not on the roadmap yet or anything, but definitely open to it. I get the need for it, especially as we add more repurposing features.
Cool. Chris says, will touch-up appearance be available on mobile?
Yeah, so eventually, yes. Right now, it's not, just because we want to make sure the performance is really good. So we're doing quite a few things right now to improve the performance of it. And once that's good and we feel comfortable with it on mobile, I think we will roll it out. There is always some trickiness with iOS Safari specifically. It's a tricky browser to get everything to work nicely on. So we'll be taking some extra time there. But yeah, I'm hoping we can turn it on mobile.
Cool. I see a couple questions about the link for Collab. I think Dana shared it in the chat, but in case you missed it, it's just StreamYard.com/collab if you're interested in checking that out. Yep. Limitless Learning says, I'm having issues with the cover picture when scheduling my lives. Easiest way to solve that, Limitless, I think would be to just go through our live support chat. If you go to StreamYard.com/contact, because they can work with you. You can send them the actual picture, and they can figure out what might be happening there. Cool. I think we have time for maybe one more topic, and then we'll go ahead and do the giveaway. Actually, before the topic, I did want to ask really quick. So there's been quite a few newer features recently. I was just curious if you guys have had any new feedback for, like, the touch-up filter, for example. Has been really useful hearing from you that for some folks it's like, hey, it's way too much or it's not enough. So that's been really useful and is why we're now working on having a few different options there. So feedback from you all was really, really useful. So if you do have any other feedback on some of the new stuff that's come recently, like the YouTube posting, for example, or background noise removal, the YouTube milestone member chats, that type of stuff, definitely let us know.
Yep.
And then the final topic, which maybe you guys can discuss as we pull up the giveaway, was editing features. So I think the most common one that it's already come up a couple times tonight is the ability to basically pause sorry, that's not an editing feature. That's
kind of close. It helps with editing.
It does help with editing. But anyway, so anything like that that is related to a more specific editing feature would maybe be related to, like, the markers question.
Markers, yeah, or cropping is another one that comes up pretty often. But basically, say you've done a live streaming recording and now you want to go into StreamYard's editor, and maybe you're using a different editor now, maybe you're using Adobe or something, and I'm sure some of you will keep using that, but we want to make a really simple experience for repurposing content, editing content. So yeah, just curious if those of you that have used the editor, any features you'd love to see us add to that just to make it more useful for you. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff we already have planned, but just curious if there's any particular pain points for you.
Cool. definitely let us know. Should we go ahead and pull up in the giveaway, Dan?
Yes. What are we giving away?
Yeah, tonight, how about we'll give away one of those pillows that I have in the background there, along with a StreamYard sweater. And yeah, to be eligible, all you have to do is type in hashtag the yard. We'll give you 10 or 15 seconds or so to get in your hashtag the yards. And if you're ever interested in running a giveaway like this yourself, just go to StreamYard.com/giveaway. There's a video walking through exactly how to use the tool, and you can do it just like how I'm doing. Basically, share your screen. You can even choose your own keyword instead of hashtag the yard. You can hashtag my cool show or whatever your show's called. And yeah,
Cool.
Maybe you can do a question or two while we wait for the.
You can only enter the draw once, by the way.
Yes,
it only works
counts once. Let's see here. If there's any comments on the I've got to sort through the hashtag the yards now, so it takes me a little bit longer. Studio group would like to see splice with a simple transition. It's good to know.
Okay, interesting.
Creative lady thinks cropping would be great.
Yep.
Awesome. Data is king says more text and caption capabilities. Definitely, that one's come up a lot. We are actively talking about those ones.
Yep.
It's a funny one. Chris, maybe a candidate for AI. I don't think we'll actually do that, but that's a funny suggestion.
That's a good one.
Cool. Has it stabilized?
Yeah, I think we're
Go ahead
good.
and run it. All right.
Good luck, everyone.
Kevin, congrats, and thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you can send an email to contact@StreamYard.com, the team can work with you on getting your brand new StreamYard pillow and your StreamYard sweater and get it shipped to you and all that fun stuff.
Cool. Congrats.
All right, we're almost at the end here, but should have time for maybe one or two more. See a few other funny AI suggestions. Very cool. Jillian says resize and crop features would be good. Yep, absolutely. Awesome, Michelle. Glad you're enjoying the giveaway tool. Livestream says a Canva link in the dashboard. I'd be curious what you're looking for with that Livestream. Like, do you just mean? I'm not 100% sure. If you could let us know, I'd be curious what you'd like to see with Canva.
Yep.
Muttnut says, love the new background noise feature. It reduces the noise. I was out seeing the largest duck here in Maryland. Cool. That's got to be a sight to see. All right. And on that note, this was episode 240 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure, and it's so helpful getting your thoughts and feedback on the product. And we'll see you next week at the same time, Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Awesome. See you next week, everyone.